Arlo and Lou here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it's tier list time. As we return to the part 2 of what we've done previously. A couple of months back, we did iconic horror movie scenes, 30. We're revisiting that with a part 2 of another 30 iconic horror movie scenes. Unlike that one, though, I noticed in that one, I basically weighted it heavily towards what was quality. We had 2 lower rankings, Is That It, and Yawn-Inducing, and nothing ended up there.
Yep.
And this time around, I thought, okay, what are some of the more crappier ones?
Yeah.
So the word iconic is probably going to be overused here because some of them maybe aren't as well known, but I think it still works. So we're going to be ranking 30 scenes from horror movies, sequences, and so on. Some are longer and some are shorter than others, into 5 categories. They are the scariest, the top of the bunch, pretty creepy, does something as the middle one where we're kind of like, hey, you know, you kind of remember it, but it's not outstanding. Then you get Is That It? Like, why do people care so much about this one? And the bottom one, the worst, Yawn-Inducing. Okay? So most of these we should both know. There's one I put that I don't know, but I know you do. So I figured it could be one you could rank. So let's get started then. Kind of starting with a big one, really.
Yeah.
And it is from A Nightmare on Elm Street. It is the bathroom scene, so to speak. This is when Nancy falls asleep in the bath during the kind of build-up towards Freddy Krueger's assault on her. And she falls asleep, and you get a camera angle from the very bottom of the bath with her open legs, and Freddy's claw comes up quietly, and then it goes back down, and then it comes out and drags her underneath the water. Yep. That's the scene in a nutshell.
Oh, I don't know. The idea of it is horrendous, because obviously she's disorientated, falling asleep.
Have you ever fallen asleep in the bath?
Yeah.
Exactly, so have I. Yeah, so have I.
Yeah.
You're so tired, and the warm water, and the bubbles.
It's all relaxing.
It's super relaxing, yeah, absolutely. But the idea, you know, it's a sort of a safe area, once again, that's been assaulted because you fall asleep.
It's very subtle, the first aid, to do it once.
Well, it's a good effect.
Yeah.
You know, because it's the claw, it's not CGI or anything like that.
I think in terms of, when people think of films, they think of certain scenes.
It's a screenshot, like the sort of screenshot you often see for Nightmare on Elm Street is the claw coming up from the bathtub. That's quite a thing. I think, like, when I sort of think of other iconic scenes from the original movie, this is one that sort of stands out more to me than anything else.
The scariest? I mean, are we letting the film kind of...
Yeah, I mean...
I'm torn, because...
I think it's high. I think maybe pretty creepy. Maybe top of pretty creepy. To begin with, we can always move it at the end if we think it belongs amongst the better ones. We'll put it there for now.
Yep.
Up next is An American Werewolf in London, and it is the transformation scene. This is, of course, David transforming into the werewolf. It's very, very iconic. It's quite a famous sequence from this because of the practicality of the effects, how drawn out it is, how painful it looks. It's quite cool.
I would put this in the scariest.
Yes, same here.
It's not quick, and the fact that it's not CGI. Imagine watching that the first time in cinema.
It still holds up today, I think.
Yeah, but like going back to then when you wouldn't know what CGI was, to know look, someone's actually done all this, and I say it looks painful. That's the thing. It's not some sort of like jokey, because there's bits in this film is obviously quite tongue in cheek.
Of course,
but this actually looks pretty horrific. Like this poor guy going through this.
I don't think there's ever been a transformation scene as good. You know, as willing to hold the camera on it to show these different developments. You know, when his hands start stretching, the face, the way the body contorts. Yeah, I don't think there's anything better. I think it's the scariest. Yeah. Let's put it at the top then. Yeah. These are one of the ones where I was a bit funny about. So we go to Book of Shadows. And I've chosen from that the backwards walking ghost. So I wanted to put some Book of Shadows in there. And I was thinking, well, what's an iconic scene in that? I was leaning towards the first time they meet the goth chick who's on top of the grave. And it's all like, oh, I'm so goth and crap like that. 'Cause it's so terrible. Then I was leaning towards when they find Erica's half-naked body inside the cupboard. But I was like, these aren't iconic scenes. And I thought, well, what's one that you often see when it comes to Book of Shadows like images? And it's the picture of that ghost. And it's basically, it's in the hospital where the curtain gets pulled back. And I don't know if it's supposed to be representing the Blair Witch herself, because she's waterlogged and all that. And she's like walking backwards, because it's supposed to be a clue to watch the tapes backwards and you'll see what happened, kind of thing.
I can't remember it, so...
Really?
I can't remember that at all. I remember bits of that film. I only remember the human parts of that film.
Okay.
Like the douchebag guy that drives the van, and like the... Yeah, I don't remember much of the scares. So
okay, well that's fair enough. Then this is one for me, because I'm torn between this being the most laugh out loud moment or the group of dead kids in the road all wearing old-timey outfits.
No, yeah.
And that, like that as being one of the worst scenes in it. But this is because it's so stupid and it acts like, oh my God, how scary is that?
Yeah.
But because she's walking backwards, it just looks really dumb.
Yeah.
Like for me, this is...
Yawn-inducing.
Yeah, let's put it at the bottom.
Yeah.
Let's put it at the bottom.
That was done so much jerky movement.
Oh yeah.
Overdone. Like if it's done well, it can be creepy because it's
like everybody
unusual.
played Silent Hill for the first time and went, God, I love the way those nurses move.
Yeah, let's put that in our film because that's spooky.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, here's more of one for comedic value than anything else. It's Brain Dead. And it's effectively, I'll sum up the scene with this, it's I kick ass for the Lord. So it is the sequence of the priest in that accent and quipping while he's fighting, karate fighting, flying through the air, some undead zombies. And the sequence ends obviously when he gets impaled on the monument and so on. But everybody remembers this for the fact that, you know, he says that line, I kick ass for the Lord.
That's a pretty iconic line.
Yeah, it is.
It's
very silly.
Yeah. So at that film, there's a scene that I think we covered in the first lot, the soup and the ear in the soup, and I found that more gross.
Can't remember if we covered it in the first. I looked through the first and I couldn't see any Brain Dead ones. I'm not sure we did. There were a lot from Brain Dead that you could actually choose. You could effectively argue the entire lawnmower sequence at the end is a sequence, is a scene.
So over the
you
top.
know. But I just wanted to throw one for Brain Dead, and I thought, this is one that's quite well known. Here's the thing, it's one of the silliest sequences in this movie, amongst a movie that has quite a few. I'm happy enough for this to sit squarely in the middle, because it's not scary, it's silly. It will make you, I think it's the kind of line that will make you laugh if you're younger, rather than older, that kind of thing. So it does something?
Yeah.
Because it's at least entertaining. The opposite of amusing. We go to Cannibal Holocaust. For the woman impaled scene. So this is when our would-be filmmakers come across the woman they effectively raped, well, not effectively, the woman they raped earlier on, who returned to a village and then was punished for no longer being a virgin, effectively. And you know that it's used on the front cover. She's basically been impaled up throughout her entire body with the spike coming out of her throat. The scene is basically them filming it and talking about it and stuff like that. It's an iconic shot. So I said so much so that on some covers it's actually on the cover. Yeah. It's horrific. It's not the most horrific thing in the movie because of the animal cruelty and torture and the death. That will always overweigh it. But if you're just talking from a humanity perspective and the imagery and stuff like that, it's quite harsh. Yeah,
definitely. I don't think it's scary because I think I'm pretty kind of bit, what's the word? Numb to kind of like cannibal horror films now. But it is pretty intense. I'd say pretty creepy because it is quite stark.
It is.
It's just one of them as well. It's not like a group, and it's quite a prolonged shot. And like, when you find out how they actually did it, I was like, yeah, they did a good job with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go with pretty creepy.
But after Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done with that. We go to Day of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Well, Captain Rhodes, and it's the choke on them sequence. This sequence begins scene starts with, obviously the facility's been overrun by zombies, and Bub, the kind of more controlled zombie, ends up shooting him a couple of times and trying to escape. Captain Rhodes opened the door, and obviously the image I've used there is when he opens the door, you get that shot while the hands are reaching out for him, and he gets grabbed, and they start tearing his body apart, and someone pulling his legs off, and he's just screaming, choke on them, as in like, choke on my legs kind of thing. Yeah. The actor, Joe Pilato, he's dead now, it made an iconic moment in his career. It really is awesome. It's so like, even to the very end, he was like a dick, even to the end,
And when you hear about what actually happened on the filming of that scene, when the stuff they used was rotting, so the smell would have been, undescribable and disgusting. The film's pretty bleak, and
it's one of the bleakest.
It's so bleak.
Scariest after American Werewolf?
Yeah,
I think so. It's such an iconic moment in zombie horror.
Yeah, you're ripped apart.
It really is such an iconic moment in zombie horror.
The colours and everything,
very short one here. It's Critters 2, the main course, and it's when the critter gets the top of his head sheared off,
bitchin'. Sees
himself in the mirror and says, bitchin'.
Loves. Like my favourite bit, the whole Critters, like what we watched so far.
Yeah, you were a big fan of this one.
They just make me giggle. It's like in Gremlins, when they're just doing stuff. It just really catches me off guard and makes me giggle.
It's a silly moment. It is amusing. It's easy. It goes in the middle alongside Brainhead, right?
Yeah.
Above or below.
It does something that makes me laugh. And I just, even that little picture. They're so cute.
Above or below?
Below.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy enough with that.
Don't annoyingly probably quote that Braindead more than the bitch. Yeah.
Cool. Event Horizon. This is the reveal of Sam Neill after he's basically taken control of the ship and got a bit stir crazy, as it were, and he reveals, he's basically sewed his eyes shut, and he's talking about what the Event Horizon did, basically, the whole portal to hell kind of thing. Yeah. That aspect. And you kind of get flashes of some of the victims that are in hell. Obviously, that movie was cut to shreds, and you see more violent imagery in images that were never actually used for the film. You could argue where this scene and where it ends is a bit difficult, because there's actually some prolonged fight between them here, and obviously he ends up shooting a hole in the window that gets him sucked out, but then he returns later on where he's all baldy and covered and stuff like that. I'm just talking about the specific section in the bridge where you see him sitting in a chair and Lawrence Fishburne's character and stuff like that. And the bloke flies in from outside who got blasted out, and he puts a bomb or something on the window, and I think Sam Neill shoots at him, and that's what causes the pressure to kind of fall out. But it's basically this sort of sequence here, including the no scene and stuff like that. I weirdly like this because for me, I'd never seen Sam Neill younger, when I was younger, in anything but Jurassic Park. Never seen him anything but Jurassic Park. Didn't know of his early career, didn't know I'd seen anything. So going and seeing him in this environment was fascinating for me. Generally fascinating. I was like, oh my God, look at him do this. Now, obviously, I know he had a huge horror career pre-Jurassic Park and stuff when he was younger. So now I know that. I didn't then. Yeah. So this was kind of, whoa, Yeah. And the makeup and the effects are pretty damn cool. As a scene overall, it's nothing special.
No, there is better.
There's better imagery in it.
Yeah, and there's a part in it that I find creepier is when they're watching a video back and they translate.
Of course, I did consider putting it in, but I thought, you know what, that's too easy, and I wanted to put in some that maybe aren't going to be as high ranked.
Yeah, I think it's just a line he says. I think because I always find out when they're watching films and they notice something, I find that creepier.
Yeah.
So when they said, "Oh, well, I've translated Latin wrong," it doesn't mean save us. It's like save yourselves. It's in like, what have you? Don't come here, like get back and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a better scene with Sam Neill when Lawrence Fishburne and saying to him, before this scene, he says something about like, "Oh, we're going home," and he says, "I'm already home," and steps back into the darkness. Yeah. Like that's got a more creepy vibe. Yeah. So I think this one isn't bottom, but I think it goes in. Is that it?
Yeah.
Because there's so much better in this movie. Yeah.
And I think that film overall, I feel like that's a good line for something like Event Horizon. Like, you got glimpses of what you could have seen. Yeah. You could have got so much more. And, like, the whole idea of space, it was bleak. If you'd put in the stuff you had to cut, it would have been amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think you know this next one. This is Fright Night. And basically, it's the you have to have faith scene between Jerry Dandridge and, I've forgotten his name, the TV star, basically. Do you know this Fright Night movie?
I'm sure.
So basically, he's a charlatan. He's on TV and he portrays, like a vampire killer and all that, but he doesn't believe in any of his shit. And this is part of the problem. When he holds up a cross to Jerry Dandridge at the end of the movie, and Jerry just kind of laughs it off, and he says to him, "You have to have faith," and that kind of kick-starts Peter Vincent realizing that, like, I've got to stop believing. Like, in front of me is a fucking vampire, a real thing that I've been scared of, and and so on. And he does start to have faith, and he causes Jerry problems. It sounds like it's nothing, but in the context of the film, particularly as you've been watching Peter Vincent's development throughout this movie, it's actually really uplifting as you realise, holy shit, he's finally starting to believe.
Yeah. Okay.
And so for me, I really, really like it. There's a lot of great scenes in Fright Night. But I chose this one because I thought, okay, it could go either way. It's not maybe the most iconic scene, because I think probably Your Dinner's in the Oven, that scene is probably more ingrained in pop culture. But I just really find this one uplifting. So for me, it does something. Yeah. But it's top of does something, because it's not about comedy. It's more of a, oh, come on, man, you can do this. That kind of situation,
I'll trust you on that one.
Yeah. The only good scene in this movie, the only reason to watch this movie is the first 5 minutes, then turn it off. It is Ghost Ship, and it is the opening sequence where the entire passengers all get cut in half or cut to pieces by the the iron wire that spins off the top and cuts through the entire thing. And it's a great visual effect as bodies fall apart. It's very gross. It's very gory. It's very practical effects. It's just nasty to look at. Then the rest of the film is utter trash. Utter trash. Yeah. But this scene, everybody knows it. Remembers this. Oh yeah, Ghost Ship. That's that. What movie with that? Yeah. So for me, it's got to go to the top. It's got to.
Yeah.
Forget the whole movie, just that sequence.
Yeah.
The little girl looking up at the captain because he was so much taller. The wire cut through his face.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense in the context of because he's no taller than a lot of the other adults who then got cut in half.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Film, though,
fair enough. But I think it's the scariest. Question is, do we put it? Where does it go?
Well, I think at the bottom. Just because the other two films are better overall.
We're not doing films, we're doing scenes. I think it goes in the middle. Okay. I think more people would know this scene than they would Day of the Dead.
Okay.
But American Werewolf London is going to outrank that. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, you must see what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Okay, here's one that... it's Halloween Resurrection. And I've chosen, because I want to do a Halloween, but I want to do one of the worst. Halloween Resurrection is one of the worst, if not the... No, it probably is the worst Halloween movie. And... I always remember the point, and amazingly, this comes at the end, because the movie's pretty terrible all the way through, but there's a point where I just went, Jerry Seinfeld, hands up, I'm leaving. Yeah. And it comes right at the end, and it's when Busta Rhymes, who's dressed up as Michael, in the fiery room, gets into a punching fist fight while spitting out puns.
See, that sounds right up my street.
And I hated it. I hated it. It's just one of those, oh my God, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I want to see this scene now.
Oh, you don't know it?
I've not seen Halloween Resurrection because I remember Busta Rhymes. He was in the film.
Halloween Resurrection. I mean, it's terrible. Yeah. It's terrible. There's been some terrible movies in the Halloween franchise, but I find this one to be an utter, absolute waste of time. For me, it's considering you don't know it, it's yawn-inducing, and for me, it's actually worse than Blair Witch 2. That scene, just because of how stupid it makes Michael Myers look, how pointless it makes him look, how it was like, oh, well, we got to have Busta Rhymes look like the baddest man in this movie. Yeah. No. Bottom indeed. This is the one. Hereditary. The beheading scene. Oh now, this is obviously, I believe, in a car, and I think the whole thing about this is that it's unexpected. It's sort of thing you don't expect to happen. So, you explain.
It's because you're not expecting it at all. Like, it's completely unsuspected. There's no creepy setup to this. It's like the girl's having like anaphylactic shock, leans out the window. The boy is obviously panicking. It's like her older brother. He's had some weed. He's panicking a bit as well. And she just hits a pole on the side of the road, like a post at the side of the road. And it literally, I was watching it. I was like, "What the fuck?" I actually said it out loud. Yeah. It was so unexpected. It was an awesome scene.
Well, then you tell us where it goes.
I would put scariest because the way they did it, it was such a... I thought she was just going to like die in the backseat of the car. Or have some sort of or they get to the hospital and it cuts to them at the hospital. To do that, and because of her look, I thought she'd been the film the whole way through.
Yep.
That was my biggest thing of like, she's got quite a distinctive look. And she's quite heavily focused on in the trailer. She's going to be in this whole film.
Okay.
So the fact they did that, it was like, it was really well done.
Well, where does it go in the scariest?
I'd go at the bottom.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I can't rank this one.
There. Yeah.
Okay, what we got now? Oh, right. This, I'm not entirely sure if you've seen this. The House of the Dead. The video game adaptation by Yui Ball. One of the worst video game adaptations you'll ever see in your entire life.
Yes, it's like they're going to like a party, aren't they?
Yeah, party on an island, and it's got these horrible cuts with the games in between. It's got some of the worst acting I've ever seen. But
the
spinny cameras and stuff like that, all of that makes no sense. However, I've chosen the longest scene/sequence in this fucking movie, and also the one where if you made it this far, congratulations, but your brain starts to dribble out of your ears through the sheer what is going on, and it is the graveyard shootout. This is a sequence that goes on over 5 minutes, has all our characters shooting guns at a never-ending supply of zombies, is shot to the sound of butt rock in some sort of House of the Dead. No, and it's just, and they're all fucking brilliant aims to the point where one character jumps in the air, it goes in slow motion, the camera spins around and she shoots a shotgun in mid-air at a zombie. But it's also filled with the most hilarious amount of errors. For example, it will go from Here's one person got 2 guns. Then it'll switch to that different camera, the one that spins, and they've got a completely different gun in their hand. And you're like, oh my good God, what is going on?
No one watched this back and went, do you know what?
No, because it didn't matter. It was how cool was this camera trick. Yeah. He was obsessed with that camera trick. Then there's the fact that it's the distance to the cottage, not fucking house, the cottage of the dead, and where they enter the graveyard is no more than a couple of 100 feet. Yet it seems to take them miles to get there. The zombies never ending. But if you watch that, right? If you watch that, go rewatch it in a different way. Watch it again and stop paying attention to everything happening in the centre of the screen. Just watch the background. It is fucking hilarious. Because the extras don't know what the fuck they're supposed to be doing. Nope. So a lot of them are just standing there like that. There's a great one where a female zombie literally wearing heels can't walk. So she's like, and you can see her tripping and and it's just honestly bafflingly like, this is the dumbest. And it's not entertaining because it goes on so long. And you're sitting there going, oh my God, this is the worst. This goes below Busta Rhymes fist fighting Michael Myers. Yeah. It does. Yeah. I knew it as soon as I put it, I was like, well, I know where this one goes, you know? Fuck this movie. Oh. And we continue with another one that could be potentially the lowest. We touched upon House on Haunted Hill in the previous video, and we're back to it. However, this one is the reveal of the smoke monster. The evil of the house. Of course, this is at the end of the movie when the House on Haunted Hill completely shits the bed and goes, oh, well, we don't really know how to wrap a movie up. Let's just make it a horrible CGI smoke thing that when it touches you, apparently consumes you. And then you become part of it. Except that doesn't happen to a character who did get consumed by it. Yeah. He comes back as a ghost at the end to save the other. It's baffling. It looks like shit. It looks so bad. And it's honestly, we talked about this in a specific review, so go check that out. It's like House on Haunted Hill is entertaining, and then it's just like, what the fuck happened? You fell off a cliff, guys.
And they made this go so bright as well.
Oh, the CG's so bad.
Yeah, and they make you focus on it for like prolonged time. It's like, why would you do that if you know it's not great? Like, I don't know, back in '99, they thought it was good for them. Like, no. But
things have held up from '99. This doesn't hold up. I mean, I don't remember it looking good when I first saw it back. I've always hated this. Even when I was younger, I hated this
other bits look better,
random shift in fucking things. When it looks at its best is when it's just tendrils. Just tendrils. Because they're small and all that. But then there's this insane thing, right, where like later, because you could do the entire sequence. I've done the reveal, but hell, let's throw in the entire sequence from when it first turns up to the very end. Why on earth does it seem to get stopped by a door at a certain point? Yeah. So that it goes underneath and it's smashing through the floor. But later, it's like it sneaks its way through the gap. Yeah. It's smoke. Can't it just what the fuck is that? Insane. Absolutely absurd. And then of course there's the puns. When it's in Eddie's face and it does the random different people coming across and it's like, the doctor is in. And you're like, oh my God. Then you're like, wait a minute. How was Vanakit part of the evil that was trapped when he was previously walking around as a ghost? If that evil was trapped in a room and it wasn't able to get out for whatever reason, I don't even know why it was trapped in that room or how it was trapped or anything like that. How was he then part of the smoke? Previously, we'd seen him walking fucking around the goddamn house. Yeah. It's not a house either. But that's a completely different thing.
Yeah. So it's going to the bottom.
It has to. It has to. Do I hate this so much that it goes bottom though?
Yeah.
Like, I hate this. I think it's such a fucking mess.
But at least the House of the Dead.
So bad.
But at least the House of the Dead is more entertaining than that. Slightly. Because you can laugh at the extras.
Oh.
There's actual humans fucking up.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's put it at the bottom. Let's do it. Oh, you're not on top.
Yeah.
Okay. One to feel a bit harsh about. It's from I Spit in Your Grave, and I literally wrote it as knob off.
Oh yeah.
So this is of course the major villain getting his comeuppance via Jennifer Hills, and she's used her sexuality to basically get him into the bathroom. She's in the bathroom with him. She's washing him down. She uses a knife under the water to effectively cut off his penis. I mean, it's no one's not going to wince. It's harsh. It's horrible. The silence, him screaming in pain as she says nothing, gets out of the bath. The aftermath that you see of the entire room just covered in blood. It's
it's got to be up top.
It's pretty horrible. Pretty horrible, isn't it?
Because I think the fact it's not just done in front of you, it's done under water as well.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
So kind of like.
Because even when he gets to the bath, he's holding his severed. You don't see anything. It's just blood, lots and lots of blood, and the reality that you know how much blood and why there's so much blood, and God, and he's locked in, and it's just horrible.
would you go scariest?
I mean, as a man, my natural response is yes. I'm just sort of thinking, I mean, he is the one that deserves to come up against the most, so to speak. So yeah, let's put it up there. Yep. Let's put it bottom though, yeah?
Yep.
Sort of alongside that lot. Okay. I wanted to choose one from It, but then I realised I'm not too sure It overall, the original It, actually has many iconic scenes. In that sense. Like, I was thinking like, God, what's a good one from It or a bad one? You know, like
The Drain?
yeah, I suppose that's probably it, isn't it? But I didn't want to go with that one, so I chose one that I think mixes a bit of both, where you could say it's kind of good and you can kind of say it's bad. And it's actually the one from the bathroom where Pennywise comes out of the drain, pulls it wide, and talks to. I don't know can't remember the character's name, but he calls him Wheezy. It's the one that struggles for breath. Eddie.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really do much except sort of tease and tell your friends, or that kind of thing, you know? But I like the contrast of it's a white room. It's a white room. It's a kid in a very uncomfortable situation. I like the effect of him pulling a pot part because I think they do it in stop motion before he comes out. The issues with it is one of those, like a lot of things in the original. Well, what happened next? Like, what happened next? Like, because the story just ends there. Like, you know, when he's reminiscing, like, how did he get out? Did Pennywise just go back under the drain? Did it disappear? Was it that kind of aspect? Because he also, I think he bares his teeth here, isn't it? He does the whole head back and throw, that kind of thing.
And that's pretty horrible.
Yeah, so it's a mix of two. You get that kind of comedic edge where it's just like, hello, tell all your friends, that kind of thing, you know? Does something? Middle?
Yeah, I definitely think it does. I mean,
any scene with Tim Curry's Pennywise, arguably.
The teeth, I always remember the teeth when it goes bad on the teeth, and I find that creepy. So I think...
Bottom of does something? Or maybe top of is that it?
No, bottom of does something.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Yep.
I don't think you know this one. This is Jason Takes Manhattan, the Friday the 13th movie. I think 7. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think it's Friday the 13th part 7 or 6. It's Jason Takes Manhattan.
It sounds like a musical.
Yeah, it's when Jason ends up in Manhattan, and the fact that they don't really show Manhattan because they couldn't, aside from a brief walk around Times Square. Is it Times Square? Yeah. And on a subway train, most of it takes place in like warehouses and stuff. It's where it first happens. But I think most people remember this film for one thing, which is the punching the guy's head off. The boxing scene. So, you know, he get on top of the roof. The guy's an amateur boxer. He starts punching and all that kind of thing. He's going to, you know, box Jason. And Jason just punches, knocks his head off. The effect is terrible. Yeah. But it's probably the most memorable, aside from Jason in Times Square and the people they couldn't pay for extras, kind of obviously
like going, what the
staring and shit like that, you know. It's a terrible movie. It's not a great scene. The effect is is that it? I'm going to put it in is that it? But it's so silly that I think it's top. Yeah. You know, because from an Event Horizon in that scene, it's not played for laughs. It's played to be super serious. Yeah. You know? Okay, then. Sticking with Friday the 13th, we're going to Jason X here.
Okay, I haven't seen that one either.
So this is the one set in the future, where Jason becomes that sort of cyborgy thing, hunting people in a spaceship.
Of course. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think Jason X is a good movie. I think it's a lot of fun, and it's got some interesting ideas. It's dated as fuck. It's from a time, and you can see that when you watch it. But it's also got one of my personal favourite deaths in it. And it is the scene where it's what do they call it? Liquid nitrogen.
Oh, yeah.
And he pushes her face in the liquid nitrogen over and over again until it freezes, and then smashes it on a table.
Nice.
And then sort of pulls it up, you see it all smashed up kind of thing. I really like that. For me, it does something. I'm going to put it top of does something. Because it's a cool death in a series that has a lot of cool deaths, you know? But it's the one that I always kind of remember from this, aside from the simulation. You know, did the whole simulation and make him do the whole sleeping bag death thing that he did in an original movie. Oh, okay. But that's a repeat of a previous death. So this one is original, you know? And I like as well, because you think, as the time of Jason X, and you sort of talk about futuristic things, I don't know why liquid nitrogen always seemed to be like liquid nitrogen, it helps keep this cool and pumps this and that kind of thing. You look at something like Sunshine. Yeah. That utilizes it as well and stuff like that. So it's always kind of, so the fact they used something that's kind of perceived as futuristic in a death was cool. Good. Yeah, absolutely. Ju-on The Grudge. We were talking about the original, not either a remake. No. This is just the original one, and it's under the covers.
Oh, I know where that's going.
This is amazing because for me, what it does, for starters, the entire sequence arguably starts from the moment she enters her apartment block, because you also get a very cool scare in the bathroom beforehand, and then when she's trying to get into an apartment and the door's slowly opening, you see the hand, All very, very creepy. But ultimately, the reason why I think it needs to be specified towards under the covers is because we're led to believe as a child you hide under your covers if there's a monster in your room, under your bed, and you're safe. This proves that's not the case. Because she, under her covers, and it's just that one shot of her, like, and it's the one I use in the picture, her face just like that, under the covers, and then she gets dragged under, and that is the scene over.
Yeah. It's like, it gives me chills thinking about it, because it's horrendous, because, like you said, it always is. You're under a duvet, you're safe, and then it's in your bed. Oh, no.
Yep.
No, right. I think top is scariest.
I think top is scariest.
Yeah.
I agree. There's another scene later on that I think is quite scary in it, but I think this is iconic.
Yeah.
This is iconic. And just because of how scary it actually is, it has to go. You admire American Werewolf. You admire it, but this is just generally horrible. Yeah. Talk about horrible, though. It is an iconic scene. Misery, the hobbling.
Yes.
So we didn't include it last time, so it is here. It's Misery, the hobbling. You know it. Kathy Bates' character gets a sledgehammer and fucks his feet up.
Yeah.
And it's violent, it's horrible, it's just famous. Yeah. Top.
Yeah.
Top row the scariest. I'm just wondering where we put it alongside of that. Do I like it more than American Werewolf? No, I don't.
No.
I'd put it after American Werewolf above Ghost Ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the whole scene, like how vulnerable he is. He's just literally lying there, can't do anything.
The crying, the begging, please don't, that kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
It's quite slow, she does both sides.
Yeah.
Just one. He's like, no, I'm going to do both of them while I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I chose a random Nightmare on Elm Street one. And I went for Nightmare on Elm Street number 4. One of my favourite scenes. It is the cockroach death, the Dream Master movie. So this is where the character falls asleep and basically Freddy transforms into a cockroach until she ends up in a roach motel. Her arms are basically her skin continues to fall off and these cockroach arms grow out of her. Yeah. She falls inside the roach motel part and the sticky stuff ends up ripping her face off. The effects are stunning. Really cool. Are stunning. Yeah, it's downright silly at times, particularly the ending where he just crushes it, I think he says you can check in but you can't check out. Like that's his pithy line. But fuck me, the effects. From the moment where he pushes the weights down and her arms break off and then she gets something all floppy, then they break off and she's running through the roach motel and it's all growing out there. So like I said, she falls face down into the sticky stuff and you see other roaches stuck in the background and then she pulls herself up and it's all...
I think pretty creepy.
I think top.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because it's so fucking good. It's one of the major highlights of a run of terrible movies, you know?
It's a shame that it's buried in a film that people might not actually
check out.
So it's like, so it's got to give it some credit.
Yeah, we want to give it some love, basically. Yeah. I think it ranked, when we did our Nightmare on Elm Street Deaths tier list, I think it ranked near the very top. Yeah, it's good. Check that one out. We're going to Poltergeist. And this is my favourite scene in the entire movie. And it's simply, you didn't move the bodies. This is right at the end of the movie, where the father character confronts his boss and grabs him and he realises, and we've realised at that point, it's something you might have suspected, but you had no proof until the very end, and it's that famous, you moved the headstones but you never moved the bodies. And he repeats that and you get the shock of the face. And this is all while the house is going berserk behind him. Craig T. Nelson in this scene, it's just fucking
It's
wonderful.
Got to be the scariest.
It's just so fucking... It's so... it's almost like relief because you kind of understand finally this is why they're all pissed off. Yeah. This is this. This is what's gone on. This and the horror of that either as well, to be living on bodies, on graves. You know?
It's definitely scary. I think it's got to be the scariest.
Yeah, I do. It's where we put it.
I'd say above Ghost Ship.
Yeah. Because it's my favourite scene for it. Yeah.
Because I like it when it's the film tells the audience might have been thinking, and it's like, what?
It's like, here's your confirmation. Yeah. Absolutely. Saw, the end of Saw, the twist, the famous twist at the end of Saw. I chose that one because that's what people always kind of remember, and it obviously kick-started and was famous for it. This is the end of the movie. Spoilers. This is where the body in the room gets up and it's revealed that he was who he was and that he was in control all the very time, and that the key Adam needed for his cuffs was the one wrapped around his toe at the very start, went down the plug, and obviously the slamming of the door. Wow, that iconic music. Dun, 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 and then the slamming of the door. Yeah. You've got to you've got to see it as it is. What a fucking moment. I still find that blows me away. A lot of Saw moments do, particularly because of it's just, you've got to take yourself back to that and ignore what we know now and what would follow. Even though there's some damn good shit in those sequels, don't dismiss them all. This, my God, what writing. Yeah. How clever. Keep you guessing to the very end. Pretty creepy.
Yeah, because the levels, because it comes at the start of the film of like, this is the level this guy's gone to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the bleakness of it, dirty looking room. It's all in that one room, isn't it? Pretty much.
No, I mean we get scenes outside it, obviously, because you've got to do flashbacks into how we even got to this situation, and then there's Zeb, his part as well. Danny Glover's cop. There is a lot outside it, to be fair, but the main crux of our character's story is set in this specific one dilapidated bathroom. Pretty creepy. Ooh.
I said the bottom of it because it does something.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I was leaning towards that. I was trying to think it would go ahead of Cannibal Holocaust or not. Yeah. This is a long sequence, but I want to include it because of how cool it was once upon a time. Yeah. Scream. The opening. Yeah. The Drew Barrymore sequence of events, from the phone calls to the build-up to her death, to the violence, to the gore, to the realization there's more than one killer, to the conversation on the phone. It's all pretty fucking impressive stuff. It was so fucking cool at the time. Like, you felt like, oh God, this is a slasher, but it felt different.
Yeah, and in fact, it's just, I love the progression of the phone call. Like, starts out a bit flirty, a bit like, okay, I'm trying to get rid of this guy. And then when it goes from like a bit of fun to just nightmare. And then she starts to panic. She tends to be quite sort of pragmatic. Okay, close the doors, going to call the police. And then her boyfriend being killed in front of her. Yeah. And the worst bit for me was when the parents could hear her dying.
Oh, right, yeah,
and then find her hung up. And obviously it just comes into the first credits. Yeah. I was like, well, that's the opening of a film, isn't it?
It is an impressive opening of a film. Where do we put it?
Ooh.
Pretty creepy near the top?
I don't know if it's pretty iconic. I'll go for the scariest. I definitely would. She's a home.
All right, okay, but where? Then it's got me near the bottom.
Yeah. Go above the willy.
Oh, I'm sure we got to go higher, and I've got to be fair here. Yeah. Let's put it after Ghost Ship.
Okay.
Ahead of Day of the Dead. I think that, more people know the intro Scream than they do Day of the Dead. Okay, here's one you don't know, but you probably know through pure memes. From memes and fame, it is Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, and it is Garbage Day. This is where Ricky, or I can't remember if is Ricky the original one?
Was that the boy that grows up?
It's his brother in the second film. It's his brother in the second one. I can't remember if it's Ricky or it's I can't remember his name, damn it. But basically, he's kind of lost the plot, and he goes out in the morning, and it's sunny, and it's bright, and it's California. It looks like California, and it's like, well, this feels like Christmas. And he starts a rampage, and part of that involves, obviously, guy emptying his bins, and the camera, as he putting his bin down, the camera spins over to him standing there with a gun, and he says that iconic line, Garbage Day, shoots the guy, and then does that horrendous laugh. This is famous because it's so fucking terrible. It's so bad. The dialogue is horrendous. The way he delivers it, the laugh at the ha 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 after, is just the worst. But people do that thing where it's like, oh man, it's so bad, it's good.
Yeah.
The movie itself is the movie's just bad.
Yeah.
It is just bad. The scene I get, because fuck me, what on earth was people like? Take two, try that again.
Yeah, just put it in there.
Just try that again.
Leave it in there.
You got to believe they couldn't get a good one. And this is the best one that came out of it. It's iconic for that, but it generally is. It's like, it's shit. It's shit. It simply is. So, because of its iconic nature, I'll put it in, is that it?
Yeah.
At the bottom.
Yeah.
Here's one that I'm including purely because we watched this movie only a few months ago, and it was quite an intriguing moment in what we felt was basically watching a family drama. It's The Brood, and it's the birthing scene. It comes at the end of the movie, and it's so shocking because at that point, you're watching a David Cronenberg horror, but we've not had David Cronenberg horror-esque moments. Not in the level you expect. There's been horror because you've obviously got the killer, the sort of small childlike killer running around. But to get this scene where it's revealed that his wife has this sort of, her trauma has been, the physical representation of that is effectively an womb on the outside that she births these creatures from. Yeah. And one is born and she starts to lick it, and it's lick it clean like an animal, and it's bloody, and you're just sitting there going, what the fuck? Yeah. That is burnt in there, man. Yeah. It's burnt.
Pretty messed up.
Yeah, I think it's pretty creepy.
Yeah.
And I might put it top. because it's burnt in there.
No, I'd go below Nancy in the bath.
All right, put it in between.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. The Exorcist could have chose numerous scenes,
So many.
but I've chosen the head spinning one. And do you know what she did, your daughter? That sequence of events, because that's really that sequence. Because I know it starts obviously with a more iconic sequence than anything else, but that's the real ramping up of the situation, isn't it? And obviously she speaks in the voice of her producer. Is it that died or jumped out the window? Like they think he jumped out the window, but obviously later on you find out it was Reagan. And he speaks. It's because he speaks. You didn't know what your daughter did. Your cunting daughter, or something like that. It's obviously pretty famous. I don't know if the effect holds up these days, but it's still pretty good.
I've seen Exorcist for a little actually.
Okay.
For a good few years. I think it's got a bit scary.
It has, isn't it? It's many,
Like it was just because sometimes you kind of like say you're numb to certain horror films, but then you think back, you think how young she is, how sweet and innocent she is at the beginning, to what she is here, and like the sheer like horror on her mum's face.
Okay.
I think it's all just horrific.
So where do we put it in the scariest then? Got quite a few in there.
Just for impact, I'd go above Hereditary.
I feel like I need to go
more?
higher.
Go higher? Okay.
I'm looking up after Poltergeist above Ghost Ship.
Yeah. I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Okay, we're about to get into a bit of an argument with the next one. Oh, let's roll. This is The Shining, and it's Here's Johnny. It's that iconic scene.
Yeah, it is, but there's worse. There's better scenes for me.
Okay, so I presumed you'd want us in the scariest.
No.
I still don't fully understand the Johnny Carson joke. I still don't quite get that. The whole Here's Johnny is referencing Johnny Carson show.
Oh, well, I'm guessing that was his catchphrase when he was on the program.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah.
So obviously he's using it in a completely different context. So that's obviously why.
But maybe that's something if you understand it. I never really got why people love this compared to other scenes.
There's so much better.
There are.
This is just good visual.
I guess, yeah, because it's that visual shot, famous. Everyone's aped it in some way. It's been parodied to fuck.
Like there's so many like
better ones.
Even like
Wendy backing up the
just
stairs.
the opening scene when they're driving there is like horrendous, scary enough. Like the sweeping music and just like the bleakness of where they're going.
The weird dog blowjob scene.
Oh, just everything. Like,
okay, so we both agree this is probably not even close. So let's be controversial. Let's put it in does something. Oh, is that it? Even lower. All right. Yeah, is that it? That's the question. If you've never seen this movie and you know this iconic scene, you might watch it and think, is that it? All right.
There's worse.
Top of is it?
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, there's scenes for me that in The Shining that I find a lot creepier. Like even like when Tony's it's not Tony. When Danny's having his like full on trying to like shine to get hold of what's the black guy's name? Why's that in my head?
Yeah, no, I can't remember either.
He's trying to get hold of him, and like he's having such a strong effect on that guy that he's like literally catatonic.
Yep.
That I find that for even like smaller things like that are creepier than like Here's Johnny.
Yeah. I think it's fair. I think it's I don't think it's as controversial as maybe we think. Two more, and we're going to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I've chosen the moment Leatherface arrives for the first time, and that is when he appears behind a guy and hits him with a hammer.
Yep.
And it's so sudden, it's so quick, right? Drags him off, slams the door.
Yep.
And that is it. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
No, obviously it will be followed up by the hook scene later on and stuff like that. But for me, that's the gritty rawness that this movie is famous for. You really feel it there because the sound of the metal scraping, the thump of the hammer, the body that shakes, the convulsions that follow from taking such a blow to the head,
and then just gone.
Yeah.
Scariest.
Yeah. No.
It's not the scariest.
Is it?
Yeah.
I was going to lean towards Top of Pretty Creepy.
No,
because there are more iconic scenes from that movie. There are being put on the hook.
That's the first time you see him, and like you said, it's so brutal. It's so unexpected.
I know, but that's us. I think when it comes to specific, when it comes to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you used to ask people to list off moments, they're gonna of Texas that stand out. They're gonna talk dinner table. They're gonna talk the hook scene. They're gonna talk Leatherface chasing down with the chainsaw.
This made me jump.
This doesn't involve the chainsaw at all. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, but for a film that's called Texas Chainsaw Massacre, over the whole series of films, they don't use them that much.
They use them a lot more in sequels. I'm saying... No, I don't... I feel like come on. Meet me in the middle.
Okay,
Top of pretty creepy.
then.
Almost in the scariest.
Yep, okay. I think there's a moment in the second film that I find just as creepy is when you watch him Chop Top coming towards the
I almost included it. I almost included this one.
He just comes out the fucking dark out
It made you jump. Yeah, absolutely.
At the room, at the house.
The last one, we go to the Wicker Man remake, and it is not the bees. Not the bees. Oh, God, not the bees. Now, I actually wanted to include my personal favourite worst scene from this trailer trash movie. And I do not care if you like it. It's not so bad it's good. It's just a bad fucking movie. A really terrible movie. And yeah, you can get some comedic value out of Nicolas Cage drop-kicking women and running around in a bear suit. It wasn't supposed to be funny.
Oh, yeah.
That's what, you know what I mean?
I've not even seen it.
It's a fucking stupid. But for me, the part that always got me, well, there are several, where it's like he keeps dreaming about this truck running over the girl, and that happens on a boat. And that's weird as fuck. But it's the dream within a dream sequence, the one that I wanted to include. But I couldn't quite find a screenshot that worked for it.
Yeah.
And the dream within a dream, just purely because I still strongly believe that Nicolas Cage's reaction to the second dream is his actual reaction to the script.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
No, it's there. Oh. He has the dream, and then he looks down, and in his body, it's the dead girl, and then he wakes up again and goes, "Oh God, damn it!" And I was like, "That is the true reaction there." But no, it's not the bees. Of course, it's at the end where he's being captured, he's going to be sacrificed, and obviously he's got an aversion to bees, and they put that helmet on him, and they pour the bees, and they're all CGI'd. They look like CGI bees as well, and he literally doesn't really know what to do. So he's, not the bees, not the bees. Oh my God, oh, it's so bad. It's so fucking bad. It is in the bottom. It is in the bottom, and it's going to go...
Nothing could be worse than the stupid ghost in House of the Dead.
I'm going to put it after Busta Rhymes. I have above House of the Dead, because House of the Dead. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. I just want to go through the top two, really, to see if there's any change, because I'm wondering if we put some a bit too high. The ones I'm looking at moving down.
Misery.
No. I'm looking at taking Day of the Dead and putting that in pretty creepy, and then putting Leatherface up there. Swapping them two out. Because I feel like this is iconic, but maybe not for as many people. Yeah. And I feel like we could put Leatherface... Let's put them alongside Scream. But I'm wondering if Scream's too low, considering the iconic nature of it. That perhaps it's maybe higher than Ghost Ship.
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Swap them two around.
I think the film... Just one more thing about Leatherface. I feel like... As an audience, that's the first time you see him as well. So sometimes
above Ghost Ship, then.
Yeah.
Yeah, needs to go higher.
Sometimes in films, you've already seen a killer, but the audience, that the film hasn't. This one, it's the people and the audience seeing it for the first time, which obviously ramps it up for me. Yeah, I agree. So I think that's fine. I think that's fine. I think moving us two around, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, oh God, it seems wrong. It seems wrong. There you go. There's our list of the next 30 iconic horror movie scenes. Got any thoughts? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?